Good morning. Can you hear? Can you hear over here? Okay. Just want to make sure you can get the message from the stage up here. I apologize for the delay. We had a little bit of backup on the registration, but we're now practically through, so we're going to go ahead and begin the meeting. I'm Robert Drennan, President of the Board of Directors, and serve District 3. It's my pleasure to welcome each of you to the 77th annual meeting of the membership of Appalachian Electric Co-op. I call the meeting to order and declare that the members present represent a quorum. The meeting is now open for business. First order of business, if you've got a cell phone, please mute it or turn it off during the meeting, please. Members and guests, please rise. And I would ask gentlemen to please remove your hats. Our invocation will be delivered by Ninette Mazells, Director, Carson-Newman University Campus Ministries. Please remain standing for the presentation of the colors by the Jefferson County High School Junior ROTC Color Guard. Following the posting of colors, please join Elijah Chaffins, a senior at Jefferson County High School, in the Pledge of Allegiance Pledge of Allegiance, followed by singing of our national anthem by Rachel Bass, a senior at Morristown West, and Brant Adams, a senior at Jefferson County High School. Please remain standing until the color guard exits the hall. See, Ninette Mazells, would you please come forward?
Please join me in prayer. Almighty and gracious God, from whom we receive every good and perfect gift, we give you praise and thanks for all your mercies. Your goodness created us, your bounty sustains us, your wisdom and guidance direct us, your patience has endured with us, and your love has redeemed us. Give us a heart to love and serve you in return. We especially remember today all those who recently have been affected by hurricanes and earthquakes. We pray for all those who are grieving the loss of family, the loss of homes and businesses. We pray that everyone affected will be sustained by your strength and hope for the future. We remember all government officials giving leadership to recovery efforts and disaster relief personnel, including those working to restore much-needed electrical power. Bless those assembled today that we may continue good work in this community. May your grace strengthen our desire to always strive to do what is pleasing to you. In your everlasting name we pray. Amen.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. You may be seated. I'd now like to introduce the Board of Directors, guests, and others who are participating in the meeting today and ask them to stand as I call their name. On the stage, Dale Fain, Vice President, District 8. John Austin, Secretary, District 5. Greg Williams, General Manager, Executive Vice President of the Co-op. Doug Drennan, Cooperative Attorney. And then we have our guest, Amy Edge, Director, Customer Strategic Initiative, Tennessee Valley Authority. David Callis, Executive Vice President and General Manager, Tennessee Electric Cooperative Association, Nashville, Tennessee. And Ted Holtz, Certified Public Accountant from the auditing firm of Pugh & Company, Knoxville, Tennessee. Thank you. Seated down front, please stand as I call your name. Dan Redding, District 1. Mark Isom, District 2. Sue McBee, District 4. Gail Hickman, District 6. Dale Harris, District 7. Mike Hicks, District 9. Thank you. This is your board. We are video recording the meeting today and posting it on our website for our members to view at a later date. Also, the screens you see will be used during the meeting to help better communicate some of the reports and information we will be sharing today. If there's anything else we can do to assist or help you during the meeting, please reach out to one of our AEC staff those dressed in red, just like the board, you saw the board had dressed in red. At this time, I'd like to call on our secretary, John Austin, to read the official notice of this 77th annual meeting of the cooperative. John?
Good morning. Notice is hereby given that the 77th annual meeting of the members of the Appalachian Electric Cooperative will be held at 10 a.m. on Saturday, September the 30th, 2017, at the Great Smoky Mountain Expo Center in White Pine, Tennessee, as listed in the proof of mailing certification dated September the 25th, 2017. The purpose of this meeting shall be to pass upon reports of officers, directors, and committees. The second purpose shall be the election of 3 directors in accordance with existing bylaws. The following named persons have been nominated for directors by the Committee on Nominations. District 3, Robert Drennan. District 7, Dale Harris. District 8, Dale Fain. The following person was nominated by petition from District 3, Eric Fritz. All other business which may come before the meeting and any adjournment or adjournments, therefore, in accordance with the bylaws. Respectfully submitted, John Austin, Secretary.
John is also prepared to read the minutes of the 76th annual meeting held September 24, 2016. However, I would entertain a motion to dispense with the reading of those minutes and approve them as written and available for inspection at the cooperative office. Do I have a motion? Anyone? I hear one down here. You need a name, Ruth? Okay. Have a second? Have a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? No. And so ordered. The Credentials and Election Committee has the responsibility to establish the manner of conducting member registration and voting at the annual meeting. This time, I would like to introduce the members of the committee and thank them for their service and ask them to stand as I recognize them. I believe they're seated somewhere right up here. John Barnhill, please stand. Where are they? Okay. Clyde Baird. Okay, I see you, Clyde. Earl Coffey. David Holt. James McCorkle. Ann Mara. Tommy Warwick. Joe Simpson. Holly Bird. Thank you very much for your service. The nominating committee prepares and posts at the cooperative office a list of nominations for the directors to be elected. At this time, I will introduce the members of the nominating committee and extend our thanks to them also. Ask them to please stand as I call their name. James Collins, Doris Cunningham, James Dean, Carolyn Allen, Jim Bond, Ray Spradling, Eddie Holbrook, Linda Ward, Bill Carmichael. Thank you also for your service. This time, I would like to ask the cooperative's attorney, Doug Drennan, to conduct the election of directors. Doug?
Good morning, and thank you, Mr. President. Pursuant to Section 4.6 of the bylaws of the cooperative, the Board of Directors has previously appointed a committee on nominations to nominate a candidate for the directorate Districts 3, 7, and 8. At this time, I recognize the chair of the committee by nominations, Ray Spradling, and ask him to give the report from that committee.
Good morning. Good to be here this morning. It's a beautiful day out there, and it's a good place to be. Appreciate everybody that's come, but I told somebody it's hard to believe that another year has passed already. We got a little older, and I got a lot balder. But life's good. Life is good. I'm here to give you a record. I'm one of the 9 members that's on the nominating committee. I'm here to give you a record of the action that was taken in our meeting in July, as far as nominations are concerned. All right, it goes as follows. We, the undersigned, who are appointed by the Board of Directors of the Appalachian Electric Cooperative pursuant to the Article 4, Section 4(6) of the cooperative bylaws, as a committee to nominate members to be voted on as directors of the cooperative at the annual meeting of the membership of the cooperative to be held on Saturday, September 30th, 2017, for Districts 3, 7, and 8 for the ensuing 3 years or until their successors have been elected and qualified as required by the cooperative bylaws, to hereby nominate the following members to be voted as directors for such prospective districts. District 3, Robert Drennan. District 7, Dale Harris. And District 8, Dale Fain. Respectfully submitted, Carolyn Allen, Jim Bond, William Carmichael, James Collins, Doris Cunningham, James Dean, Eddie Hallbrook Jr., Ray Spradlin, and Linda Ward. So that takes care of that. I thank you. May God bless you, and I hope you have a good day.
Mr. Secretary, I request that the report on nominations be identified and further request that the report be annexed to the minutes of this meeting. Section 4.6 of the bylaws also allows nominations by petition. There was one nomination by petition submitted and verified for District 3, Mr. Eric Fritz. Being that there are no other candidates for District 7 or 8, I would entertain a motion that each of the nominated candidates, District 7, Dale Harris, and District 8, Dale Fain, be elected by acclamation. Do you have a motion? The motion, do you need that name, Ruth? Who made the motion? Your name for her. And the second. Did you get that, Ruth? There has been a motion and a second that the following nominees be elected by acclamation: Dale Harris for District 7 and Dale Fain for District 8. All those in favor of the motion say yes. All those opposed say no. Motion passes. Since we have 2 nominees for District 3 and pursuant to Section 4.3 of the bylaws, directors shall be elected by secret ballot by the members. Directors are elected at large, so all members can vote, even if you do not reside in that particular district. Each member has been issued a ballot upon registration. You will also find a pen in the bag you were provided. Fold the ballot once before placing it in the ballot boxes. The Credentials and Elections Committee will act as tellers and will be responsible for counting the votes. Appalachian Electric Cooperative staff will provide assistance as needed. in distributing and collecting the ballot boxes. Since the co-op accepts votes by proxy, you may notice some members having more than one ballot to vote. If you need assistance, please raise your hand, and Appalachian Electric Cooperative staff person will respond. At this time, please mark your ballots. At this time, I now direct the Appalachian Electric Cooperative staff to distribute the ballot boxes. Members should remain seated. Drop your ballot in the ballot box as it passes you. At this time, I would ask that the tellers and the Appalachian Electric Cooperative staff to also deposit their ballots. Two there. Have all voted who wish to do so? If no one else wishes to vote, the polls are now closed. The tellers are to deliver the ballot boxes to, I guess, the room back here, the corner of Section A, where they will be counted by the Credentials and Elections Committee.
Okay. We're now ready to have some fun and draw for some prizes. We'll have 4 prizes. You must be present to win. So we'll start, as soon as I can get Scott up here, we'll start drawing. Rachel Brass is drawing for us. Thank you. And I'll call the number, and please shout out. 506-121. Do I have a winner? 506-121. No? Nice call. Okay. Try another one. 505-995. 505-995. There must be the Credentials Committee in there. Their tickets. Okay, back up. 505-995. You got it?
Way over here. Way back here.
Way back here. Okay, they'll get to you. What about the other one? Does anybody over there got that one? The 506-121? Okay. That's a $50 gift certificate, by the way.
Up here. 506. Yeah, I think we've got that one.
The which one? Which one, Greg?
The 121.
That was the first one I called.
Okay,
So
got
we've got, that's a two $50 gift certificates, so we've got 2 of them. Okay. 506-280. can't see them.
Right, one of our officers.
Right up here. Now, I got one more. This is a $75 certificate. 506-337. 506-337. Way back over here. This will give you credit toward your electric bill. Okay, that completes this drawing. We'll have more later. This time, I would like to call upon Amy Edge, Director of Customer Service Initiatives, Tennessee Valley Authority. Amy, thank you.
Good morning. How's everybody today? Good? I really have to tell you all that I have felt so welcome today, and I'm truly delighted to be back at the Appalachian Electric Cooperative Annual All-Member Meeting, which is quite a mouthful, and to have the opportunity to provide some insights to you about what we're doing at TVA in partnership with Greg, his board, and the Appalachian leadership team as we continue to work together to serve you. But before I get started, let me just share that the last time I was here with y'all was in 2014 at the All-Member Meeting, and it was a very similar Tennessee Valley football Saturday when the Vols were on the road to take on the Georgia Bulldogs. And I remember this because I almost made the unforgivable mistake of wearing black and red that day. And I'm going somewhere with this. But last minute, I remember this, thank God, my daughter and my husband stopped me and said, you really need to change your clothes before you head up out of this house. And I did. And let me just say to all you Vol fans two things. The first is that if you look around, the Appalachian team is wearing red today. But they have assured me that they do in fact bleed orange, so rest assured. And then the second is that Greg has assured me that we will be wrapping up prior to game time. So all's well there. You're welcome. So let me begin with a bit of a reminder of what we are all about at TVA. As many of you are probably aware, both TVA and Appalachian have been around for decades. TVA for 84 years and Appalachian for 77 years. And both were established to help develop one of the most impoverished parts of the country. And so for TVA, that encompasses the entire Tennessee Valley region. And for Appalachian, it's all of you and many of those that you love. When President Roosevelt signed the Act of Congress establishing TVA back in 1933, he intended for TVA electricity to be the means to a greater end. And he explained that when he had a public press conference and said, power is really a secondary matter. TVA is primarily intended to change and to improve the standard of living of the valley. Power is a secondary consideration. Of course, it is an important one because if you can get cheap power to those people, you hasten the process of raising the standard of living. FDR's intention for TVA lies at the heart of TVA's mission, which is to serve and make life better for the people of the Tennessee Valley region. And so I hope that after today, it's somewhat clearer to all of you how aligned the mission of TVA is with the Appalachian mantra of member-owned, service-driven. At TVA, we focus on three things. We always have and we always will: energy, economic development, and environmental stewardship. And we serve our mission through the unique version of public power that we have here in the Valley. We work towards those three things in everything we do: to provide affordable, reliable power, to act as a faithful steward of the Valley's rich natural resources, and as a staunch partner for economic development. Of course, energy is the biggest part of what we do. So to meet the energy needs of the Valley, TVA works in partnership with 154 local power companies, both cooperatives like Appalachian, as well as municipalities, that serve more than 9 million people and some 700,000 businesses and industries across parts of 7 southeastern states, including virtually all of Tennessee. The value of public power is that we, TVA and Appalachian, have a joint responsibility to continue work of serving the people of the Valley. And since my role here today is to provide the TVA report, I'm naturally going to focus my comments largely on TVA, but please know that both TVA's relationship and my personal relationship with and respect for Appalachian is deep and broad and ongoing. Over the past several decades, the people of TVA have been working hard to deliver in the areas of rates, reliability, and economic development. The TVA Act calls for power rates as low as feasible while providing sufficient revenue to operate the business safely and effectively. This includes paying for the costs of operation, maintenance, and administration of TVA's power system, all the while keeping a reasonable cushion of reserve funds to cover unexpected contingencies and possible issues or risks that would otherwise compromise our ability to deliver on our mission. We strive to generate electricity with the right fuel, at the right time, at the lowest possible cost for all of our customers. This is, in fact, TVA's responsibility, and the Valley model of public power serves all 9 million who call the Tennessee Valley home. As partners in public power, we truly understand the profound benefits of electricity and how the cost of that electricity plays a part in the overall quality of life for all our customers and their members. TVA is committed to continuing to keep electricity rates low, competitive, and provide reliable power from a diverse generation mix. And we're working hard to control our own costs, invest in our assets, and manage our debt. And in keeping with a long-term financial plan that we put back in place in 2013, this plan aims to accomplish several things: to reduce operation and maintenance expenses, to ensure continued 99.99% reliability, to diversify and optimize our generation portfolio and reduce all of our fuel costs, to begin to get our retirement pension in order, and to reduce debt. This plan required additional revenue in terms of our rate increases in order to fund capital investment in projects. The plan called for small incremental annual rate increases, approximately 1.5% over a 10-year period, to reduce debt while making the necessary investments in the power system to ensure our ability to serve the energy needs of the Valley in the most reliable, safe, and effective manner. We are now almost halfway through that 10-year financial plan, and let me share that during the first 5 years, we focused on gaining efficiencies in our business by cutting more than $800 million in operation and maintenance expenses, reducing fuel costs by over $1 billion, investing more than $2 billion in capital projects, and completing the build and operationalizing important assets such as Watts Bar Nuclear Unit 2 and the Paradise Combined Cycle Plant. Additionally, we've retired and made significant improvement in the performance of our generating fleet. Today, we continue to improve performance across the generating fleet and are committed to staying on track towards reducing our debt and funding the TVA retirement system. As we move into the second half of our plan, so the next 5 years, we'll focus largely on debt reduction. This is really important because debt servicing costs are part of our rates. So therefore, if we reduce our debt, we can lower rates. I will also mention that over the next 2 years, we will have a much clearer picture of our plan's results, and we'll be working with our customers, including AEC, on a new long-range financial plan that will provide us guidance related to a variety of things, including the need or not need for rate increases post the next 2 years. So no doubt that we're all going to be paying particular attention to the results of that new financial plan. As I mentioned earlier, TVA is more than just energy. Our economic development team has worked with local, regional, and state partners, including many of our local power companies, to attract and retain more than 418,000 jobs and more than $48 billion in capital investments since 2009. It is through these efforts that we continue to attract and retain businesses and employers in the Valley, which in turn drives our local economies. And environmentally, we are doing what we are committed and obligated to do, which is to provide cleaner energy reliably and at a low cost. Through a long history of environmental monitoring and stewardship, we remain committed to that legacy. We continue to reduce the environmental impact of our own operations with cleaner energy sources, ongoing investment in emissions reduction technology, and by responsibly managing our own water and waste. We are proud to fulfill our mission of stewardship by caring for the Tennessee Valley's natural resources. I'm very proud to share that TVA is continuing on this trajectory of stronger financial, operational, and environmental performance. But let me be clear, we can always do things better, and we will never stop striving to do so. We are on track to meet our commitments and targets, and we are working to deliver the low price and high reliability that Appalachian and you as their members expect, while also looking forward and thinking about the future as customer needs and wants continue to change, as technology continues to evolve, and as competitors enter into the valley. AEC is committed to being the trusted energy provider for all of you, and TVA is committed to helping support their mission as they serve you. I can assure you that as members of the AEC community, you are in very capable and committed hands. Greg, his board, the leadership team, and the entire AEC workforce continues to demonstrate their never-ending quest to serve your needs in a more effective, efficient, and innovative manner. I can also assure you they never cease to push back on TVA, to question the why behind our decisions, and they are unequivocally committed to partnering with us to ensure we live public power here in the Valley and that we stay true to our mission. All the while, they're embracing new ways of delivering on that mission. And I believe Greg is going to share some of those efforts with you in his manager's report a little bit later this morning. So as I wrap up, and more simply put, TVA must continue to perform at an extremely high level, operationally and financially, in order to have the flexibility and strength to deal with whatever the future holds. We are planning additional cost reductions next year, and we continue to look for ways to further improve everything we do, to get a little safer, better, faster, leaner in everything. Reliable power is something TVA and our local power companies have come to be known for, and we will continue to do everything we can to provide that value. TVA and AEC are collaborating to ensure that your rates remain as affordable as possible, that you have safe, reliable power, and that the quality of life for you here in the Valley continues to thrive for generations to come. As a member of TVA's leadership team, I personally have committed to a life of service, just as my father did many decades ago in the United States Air Force, just as Greg, his leadership team, the AEC board, and the workforce have done when they chose to accept their positions at AEC. We are public servants, and this is not a responsibility that any of us take lightly. We impact the quality of people's lives, and we owe it to each of our brothers and sisters to truly lean in and do all that we can to serve you in the best possible way. We are committed to you, and you can take that to the bank. Thank you, God bless you, and go Vols.
Thank you, Amy, for taking time on Saturday morning to come out to address our members. Now, I would like to introduce David Callis, Executive Vice President and General Manager of the Tennessee Electric Cooperative Association. David?
Greg said it's going to take a long time to count those ballots, so I've only got 20 pages. Good morning. Happy to be here this morning and have the opportunity to make a few brief remarks. My congrats to this board and the employees for doing a great job running your co-op during the past year. I know these employees and the board well. I've known the last three managers, and each and every one's dedicated to keeping the lights on. When you flip that switch, they want the light to come on as much as you do. In fact, several of them went to Georgia to help with Irma. I know some of the gentlemen that were doing the safety demonstration earlier, they went to Georgia. They kept them several days beyond some of the other crews because, and I'm a little biased here, our Tennessee crews really work hard when they go out there. Are those guys that went to Georgia around anywhere? I don't see them, but let's give them a hand. That's tough work when they do those things. And thank you for showing up on a business meeting. I know you get food, you get door prizes out of it, but you took time out of your schedule to come here and be an active member of your co-op. And that's important to you as a member owner. You've got stickers. You're member owners, not because of that sticker, but because of the way that electric co-ops are formed and because of the way we operate. Let me read an important co-op principle to you. Cooperatives are democratic organizations controlled by their members who actively participate in setting policies and making decisions. Elected representatives are elected from among the membership and are accountable to the membership. Every member has equal voting rights. One member, one vote. Well, what does that mean? In this political era of people saying things that may mean something else, or they may have just decided to say, this means exactly what it says. Other than certain rules we have to follow, like regulatory that TVA provides to us, or legal requirements that the state and federal government provides to us, the policies that your co-op operates under, you decided. Your predecessors and current members decide those bylaws. And cooperatives around the world operate according to that same set of core principles and values. And those principles go back to the first modern cooperative that was formed in England in 1844. That's a long time for a business model to operate. And those principles are a key reason that America's electric cooperatives operate differently from other utilities, whether it's an investor-owned or a municipal system. We put the needs of the members first. The electricity that you use is the same as that used by other electric utilities, as is the equipment, the poles, and the wires. But the similarities end at the technology. Electric co-ops operate on a non-profit basis, charging just enough to cover the cost of operating and maintaining those equipment, poles, and wires. No shareholders demanding higher rates and a greater return on their investment. Instead, each co-op member is an owner of the co-op, so anything that's left over is reinvested back into the co-op, every dollar, increasing reliability and keeping your rates low. And that difference in ownership also leads to a difference in governance. This board of directors up here on the front row and behind me, they're different than a corporate board. Corporate boards sometimes are selected because of their wealth, another company they might operate, their influence, or a position that they hold. That's not the criteria for a co-op board. First and foremost, every electric cooperative director has to be a member of the electric cooperative. They serve on the board only because you elected them to serve on that board. They're members just like yourself that said, hey, I'd like to be a board member, and you selected them. You just exhibited one of those principles today by casting your ballot to elect a director. And because they're members, they live and work in the community they serve. And that ensures that their attention is rightly focused where it should be. When you make a decision that affects you and your neighbors, you want to get it right. Because if you don't, your neighbors will let you know about it. Does that happen, board of directors? It does throughout the state. And our cooperatives across the state also work for the betterment and the development of their communities. Support for things such as education, health care, and economic development. That helps to grow the community and keep it vibrant for tomorrow's co-op members, those Washington Youth Tour students we saw around here. Your children and your grandchildren, you want to give them something that they can be proud of. You want to give them a community that they can be proud of because you kept it vibrant for them. Well, this year, Tennessee's electric cooperatives, led by their members, will have a new opportunity to consider. I'm certain Greg will talk a little bit more about this, but the Tennessee Broadband Accessibility Act was recently passed into law. It allows electric co-ops to provide broadband access that will allow rural communities to be on par with the cities. It's a big undertaking. It's not going to happen quickly. And just like the early leaders who built the first power lines, it's going to take very careful planning and deliberation to do so in an economically feasible manner. And I'd be remiss if I did not point out one of my employees. Mike Knotts, are you around somewhere? The lights are bright and I can't see you. Mike is on the front row. Mike leads our government relations department, and he did pretty much nothing but work on the Tennessee Broadband Accessibility Act during this year's legislative session, along with your co-op directors and your co-op leaders in trying to get that passed. It's something that we think is long overdue and a positive step, something that our cooperatives can consider to do for their membership. That being said, good policies and business decisions take time and attention. It's how electric cooperatives were formed, and it's what we've been doing for over 80 years. It's not going to happen overnight, but it is something that we're looking at. We've got to do this in an economically feasible manner. We've got to do it in a way where we can address the needs and the desires of our members. Well, I don't have 20 pages. I told you I'd be brief. In closing, I'd like to thank Greg Williams for the work he does. Greg is a very active leader in our statewide association. Does a great job for you, but he also represents Tennessee in some regional and national associations. I'm really not certain how many days he gets to spend at home anymore because he always seems to be on the road conducting a meeting or leading some effort somewhere else. So I don't know if he has a twin that does that or not, but Greg does a fantastic job at your co-op and a great job representing other Tennessee co-ops throughout the valley and indeed the nation. And finally, thank you for showing up this morning. That's important for you to do as a member owner of a co-op. I mentioned that. But as someone who works directly for you, I appreciate that. I've enjoyed walking around talking to many of you and getting in touch with the people that I work for. It reminds me what I do and how much I enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Traveling all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. And Mike, Mike's right down front here. If you haven't met him, you need to meet Mike. He's full of it. So, okay. Mr. Ted Holtz of the auditing firm Pugh & Company will now give our auditor's report. Ted?
Thank you, Robert. Our firm, Pew CPAs, conducted the financial audit for Appalachian Electric Cooperative for the 2017 fiscal year. This covered the fiscal year period of July 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2017. An unmodified opinion report was generated, also known as more commonly known as a clean opinion report. And our audit report was presented to the board of the co-op this past Tuesday, September 26. Financial information has been summarized in the Tennessee Magazine, so that's in recent edition, so that's available for you. And also, if you want to see the audit report itself, a copy of that's available through the business office of the cooperative. I'm going to briefly go over some highlights, going over the financial condition of the co-op, some key numbers. Total assets of the co-op were about $158 million at June 30th, 2017, up from $152 million the year before. 82% of your assets, total assets, represented the cooperative's investment in the electric plant and the distribution system. From a numbers perspective, that's $130 million net of depreciation. Gross before depreciation was $214 million. So obviously it takes a lot of money to be able to provide the distribution system so that everyone gets electric power. Liabilities of the co-op amounted to $63 million at June 30th, 2017, up from the year before. Most of this is in the term of long-term debt, roughly $47 million of mortgage notes after a refinancing that was done in the current fiscal year. Net equity of the co-op was roughly $95 million, and that's called net equity, but it's really called in the electric world earnings reinvested in system assets, because without equity, then your debt would be at a really high level, and you'd have significant interest payments, and that would increase the cost of what you have to pay. So it's good to have the right balance, because a lot of money needs to go in to keep the electric system up to date. This past year, your electric system, as far as in the plant and distribution system, spent about $11 million to keep it and continue to improve. From an income statement perspective, gross revenues from electric sales totaled about $103 million this year, up from $98 million the year before. And supply and demand, the weather has a great impact. when you have a lot of high peak times, that will increase your cost of power and increase your revenues for the co-op. As you'll see right below that, total purchase power was $70.1 million, up from the year before. $74 million this year, $70.6 million the year before. Both your revenue and your expense increased by 5%, which is what you would expect. You would expect the power to go up in relation to your revenue. That money goes into reinvest into next year's electric system purchases. We appreciate the assistance of the accounting finance office of the cooperative that made the audit go smoothly. And again, in recap, the cooperative continues to be in sound financial condition. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. We always want to know we're in good condition, so Ted does a good job for us. Okay, are you ready for another drawing? Okay, this is our second drawing of the day. You must be present to win, and it will represent credit toward your electric bill. Here we go. If you're over in this other section over here, please shout out. 505-873. Okay, over here. That is for a $50 certificate. Okay. This is for a $75 certificate. 506-475. Over here. Okay, now a $75 certificate. 506-098. 506-098. You got it? Okay, we're going to skip that one. Got it? 506-098. Is that it? You got it? Okay. This is a $100 certificate. This is the last in this drawing. We'll have another later. 506-282. 506-282. Over there? I assume we got it. Okay. Okay, that completes our drawing for this round. This time I'd like to introduce our General Manager and Executive Vice President, Greg Williams, who will give his report. Greg?
Thank you. All right. Thank you all very much. Seems to me all the tickets are on this side this year for some reason. To Amy's point earlier, before I begin my report, we did not plan to wear red shirts today on the Georgia Bulldog Day, okay? That was not planned. That's why you see me with a little bit of orange underneath, okay? I had to level set there, okay? And then also, let me just say something about Ray Spradling from our nominating committee. You'll notice that I hugged him up here. He's here 2 days after his brother passed away, so we really appreciate him coming out today, and I just really want to thank him. So, Ray, thank you for coming out under those conditions. So, all right, Without any further ado, good morning and welcome to the 77th annual meeting of the members of Appalachian Electric Cooperative. I do appreciate the attendance of our guests, which you've already met and seen on the stage today. But mainly, thank you for coming out and sharing and visiting with your fellow co-op members and neighbors today. And I'm sincerely grateful to you for supporting your co-op. Now, let me say that one more time. This is your cooperative. Every AEC member and each board member is ever mindful that we are member-owned, and you are the members. You are the owners. We work every day to serve you and improve the quality of life in your community. Better stated, we are member-owned and service-driven. We adopted that as our charge to ourselves, and I believe it captures the heart, really the heart of what drives each of us who spend our days working at the co-op or out in the field benefiting those we serve. Now, whether that involves keeping the lights on, processing the bill payments, engineering and maintaining the electric system, signing up folks for new service, or any number of other tasks that we do, it really comes down to being member-owned and service-driven. And I want to explore that idea just a bit this morning and share with you some of what's special about our relationship with those we serve. So first, let's reflect on the fact that AEC is member-owned. Among other things, that means that we believe in being accountable to you. A great example of this is our ongoing commitment to strategic planning, including tracking our progress in achieving results. Now, with a great deal of help from Amy, who you've already met, who happened to help facilitate our planning process this time and really did a good job of keeping us on track, our most recent plan was developed and approved by the board in December of last year. We call it a blueprint for success because it'll direct our work for the next 3 to 5 years in much the same way that a builder relies upon an architect's blueprint. Now, in it, it spells out that what we hope to achieve in 4 key focus areas. Number 1, member services. Number 2, our workforce. Number 3, rates, finances, and security. And number 4, reliability and infrastructure. Now, we provide quarterly updates to our board on the progress we've made on key objectives. Those are the things that we're doing inside of those focus areas. And we've developed metrics or ways to measure ourselves to see if we're on target, if we're behind the 8 ball, or if we're actually meeting a stretch goal, which means we're completing that objective earlier than what we had anticipated. In this way, we hold ourselves to a standard of accountability that our members, you, expect and deserve. Now, I'd like to highlight a task that we undertook as a part of this process, one that really does have far-reaching implications for us going forward. We conducted a thoughtful review of AEC's guiding principles. Now, that's our mission, our vision, and our value statements. Those are critically important for an organization. So let's start with our mission statement. And I'm hoping that'll come up. Yes, it did. This defines why we exist, our reason for being. It's the overarching foundational truth that really spells out our purpose, guides our actions, and influences our decision-making. Now, we were intentional about incorporating a new phrase in the mission statement. That is, improving the quality of life for our members. Because really, at its core, that's what the service we provide actually does. It helps boost economic development, bringing jobs to our communities. It gives our residential members tools to better manage their energy use, thereby hopefully lowering their electric bill. It makes it possible for our commercial members to use electricity more efficiently and improve their bottom line. Our members are better off because our cooperative is working hard to provide those quality of life benefits. Let's turn to the vision statement. You'll see that we've set a pretty high bar for ourselves. Our vision is about what we are striving to achieve or hope to accomplish in the future. It points us in a direction that we want to go. By its very nature, a vision is not so much achievable as it is aspirational. We aspire to that. With this as our ideal, I believe the group of dedicated and engaged employees and our directors are well positioned to get us closer to this vision than we ever have before. And finally, our value statement. We didn't make any fundamental revisions, only shortened and combined some elements. The key is that you can count on the fact that AEC's values remain rock solid. This statement outlines our top priorities and what our core beliefs are. It describes how we think things should be done and serves as a measuring rod against which we evaluate everything that we do. The next aspect of member ownership I'd like to emphasize is AEC's respect for the cooperative principle of democratic member control, a value that is on display right here today. Once more, and remember last year was the first time we had an election since like 1974, so this is 2 in a row. So we find ourselves witnessing a board election that offers a choice between 2 candidates for the same district seat. And again, thank you for your thoughtful participation in that process. Our board of directors are elected to represent your interest, and they take that responsibility very seriously. Let me assure you, their duties are considerable, and the time commitment they make is not insignificant. Your voting experience today underscores the fact that through your elected representatives on the board, you really do have a voice in setting policy for our cooperative and helping to determine its future. One last way that being member-owned plays out in the day-to-day operations of AEC is we act in the best interest of those we serve. Now, as you've heard from Amy, TVA will be implementing a wholesale rate increase starting October the 1st. And as you might well expect, that increase passes from wholesale down to the retail rate schedule. But the good news is, and I'm saying the really good news is, AEC will not be adding to that increase this year. With the exceptions of some very, very small cost of service modifications to our commercial accounts and also to some municipal lighting accounts, in this case, we are holding AEC's portion of the rates, including residential, at the same level as last year. Okay? Thank you. A perfect example of how we were able to do this relates directly to the fact that we act in the best interest of those we serve. Now let me explain how all of this transpired. Since well before this time last year, AEC staff members have been diligently gauging the market, seeking an opportune time to possibly refinance our remaining government debt. Now this is money we've borrowed from the Rural Utility Services. Used to be called REA, and it went to RUS. And we borrowed that money for system improvements like building substations and power lines. Well, that time finally came in June of this year. Working with the National Rural Utilities Cooperative Finance Corporation, or CFC for short, we were able to pull the trigger and refinance all of our remaining RUS debt. Now the question is, how significant was this? Now just think, for the first time since the co-op was formed in 1940, we are no longer obligated to the United States government. Okay? That's a big thing. But that's not all. Because we were strategic in our timing with regard to interest rate differences, we were able to save about $6 million in interest cost on that debt. As a result, our first year savings in interest was about $500,000. Now that's big. Because of this outstanding work on the part of our staff and the approval of our board, we were able to make our budget projections for this fiscal year and still have a healthy net income for maintaining our financial goals without the need for a rate increase. Working with CFC going forward, we'll have less regulation to deal with, and that's always a good thing, and really a lending institution that is better positioned to be able to respond quickly to our financial needs. If you've ever dealt with the government, quick is not in their vocabulary. It's hard to express all the implications behind these actions, but the bottom line is AEC was able to defer a rate increase for our members, and that is the most important message I could share with you today. Before I talk about the second half of the member-owned, service-driven concept, I'd like to provide you with what might be called kind of the state of the co-op information. We now currently serve 46,382 metered accounts, with over 300 new accounts having been added each year for the last 3 years now. That's a very strong sign that we are seeing improvements in the local economy and that folks are building again. Just recently, construction got underway on 2 new subdivisions, representing 150 new building lots. Now, it's been at least 7 or 8 years since we've seen that level of subdivision activity. Additionally, our service area has seen expansions among local industries. The German company Wiedecom continues to add new product lines in their Dandridge facility, and they're experiencing growth. We've also had several Jefferson City companies considering expansions, including Matsuo, Fit Industries, Plastics Recycling, and Masonite. AEC recently added a second large transformer to serve Film Tech in Granger County. Now, I'm going to call your attention to the screens, and hopefully this will work. And you're going to hear an audio file from CEO Mark McGarrell. He is the CEO of Film Tech as he shares his perspective of what it means to be member-owned and service-driven.
Good morning. My name is Mark McGarrell, and I'm the president of Film Tech, located in Bean Station, Tennessee. I'm pleased to have this opportunity to speak with you this morning about working together with the Appalachian Electric Co-op team to grow our business. Film Tech is a diversified manufacturer of barrier films. Our machines run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we rely on clean, consistent electricity. Our processes evaporate and deposit pure aluminum onto thin substrates such as polyester, polypropylene, and nylon. I've sent some brochures to you for a more complete understanding of what we do. I started the company in 2001 and can tell you that the AEC team has been instrumental to our success. We began with 2 machines and 6 employees. Today, we employ over 60 full-time associates and have recently completed several upgrades to our electrical infrastructure to prepare for our next phase of growth. Over the past months, we have worked with AEC to improve reliability and make significant changes, all the while keeping the plant running. Here are some pictures to demonstrate what's been accomplished. In pictures 1 and 2, you can see fast operating switches which allow changes between the Rutledge and Bean Station substations. This helps to minimize long-term power disruptions. In pictures 3 and 4 are manual switches that isolate sections of our industrial park. This was a critical part of ensuring our plant kept running even while we were installing new equipment, and new machines. In pictures 5 and 6, you can see new chill water capacity that keeps our plant and equipment cool. And finally, picture 7 shows 2 new 400 amp pad mount transformers which will handle the load from expanding the facility. And in the final photo, it demonstrates the new monitoring and automatic switching hardware that manages our 1.5+ megawatt demand here at FilmTech. Beyond the recent hardware installations, we rely on Appalachian Electric Co-op to provide several services that enhance our business. AEC has tested our plant using infrared for hotspots. They've analyzed our load factors to improve efficiencies, and they've checked our compressed air lines for leaks. In short, we have enjoyed a 16+ year relationship with AEC and look forward to continuing that into the future. On behalf of our customers and associates, thanks for being a service-driven organization.
Very good. Mark was going to try to be here today or send somebody, and that didn't work out, but I greatly appreciate him putting that together for us at our annual meeting here today. Your co-op is doing everything we can to support and promote economic development. This kind of growth is good for our communities, but it's really good for your co-op. As AEC adds load and new commercial accounts, it helps spread inflation-related costs over a greater number of members and a greater number of kilowatt hours, and that helps keep rates low. Let's talk finances for just a minute. We ended our fiscal year on June 30th with a solid net income of $2.6 million, which was a result of a very hot summer. If you remember last July, August, and September, it was very warm, which drove kilowatt hour sales higher than expected. However, that was partially offset by one of the mildest winters we've ever had, which resulted in lower than average kilowatt hour sales for those months. The 1% increase we implemented last October helped offset the rising cost of operations and maintenance. Bottom line, as you heard from Ted earlier, AEC remains in a very healthy and solid financial position at approximately 58% equity. At this point, I'd like to shift our discussion to the service-driven side of things. Your co-op is constantly seeking to add programs, products, and payment options that meet the needs of our members. Now, I've got just a couple of examples of that to share with you today. As technology changes, we're doing our best to incorporate safe and secure methods for our members to make payments. Over the past few years, we've made it possible to pay over your phone or through your computer desktop or even over your mobile device. Our newest option is a self-serve kiosk located in the outer drive-through lane at our headquarters. It accepts payments in the form of cash, credit or debit cards, or personal checks at any time of the day or night. Now that's critical because some folks can't get to our offices to pay their bill while the offices are open. This is a wonderful way for them to pay at any time, day or night. And it provides a confirmation of your transaction. Now the kiosk will be particularly useful for folks who participate in our FlexPay program. We're looking into the possibility of partnering with others to provide additional kiosks at other locations throughout our service area. We're all about making sure that you can pay your electric bill not only conveniently, but also securely. Another example of our drive to meet the needs of our members is the Co-op Connections Card. Here to talk about how she has personally benefited from this program is AEC cashier Amanda Raines. Amanda?
Good morning. How is everyone? I have one question for you this morning. Who in here likes to save money? Looks like most of you. Well, as a benefit, free of charge for being a co-op member, we have the Co-op Connections card. With this Co-op Connections card, you can not only save at your pharmacies, vision, dental, chiropractor, but you can also shop online. I personally use it for shopping online. I'm a big online shopper. I bought my daughter some school clothes from Walmart.com. I think my total was around $8.64, and I earned $2.36 back just off one transaction. It's as simple as going to Connections Co-op, Cashback Mall, you register, you click the link through that website, and you're there. It has over 3,000 retailers. BassPro.com, TractorSupply.com, Target.com, Walmart.com, and best of all, Amazon. Most of us shop from Amazon. Everything's on Amazon. With our pharmacy, in the past 3 years, we've had about 1,000 members register there at their pharmacy. They've saved $14,000. I personally, in the past year, have saved $100 just online shopping, doing what I would do anyway. Most of you stopped by our booth and got the card on the way in. If you did not, come see me behind Section C. I'll be glad to answer any questions, help you with anything. If you didn't get your card, come see me. I will get you connected with our Co-op's Connection card. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Service-driven also encompasses the more traditional concept, obviously, of distributing electricity. It means that we work hard to identify and address electric system needs in order to improve reliability. Now, as you travel throughout our service area, I'm sure you have spotted some of the construction projects that we are currently working on or that we have recently completed. Granger County folks have probably noticed the area that's been leveled adjacent to our Bean Station substation. Excuse me, this facility was stretched, very stretched during the polar vortex a few years ago. So before the end of this year, we will begin construction on a brand new substation, upgrading capacity as well as installing all new equipment. Now, prior to the start of today's business meeting, we shared a short video clip that highlighted several of our projects. In the New Market area, we completed an upgrade of a portion of our 69 kV transmission system, which finishes a critical tie line between our Oakland station at Cherokee Dam and the Dumpling Valley delivery point. If you've traveled Highway 113 to White Pine, you would have seen AEC crews replacing and upgrading our main feeder line between Oak Grove and White Pine. In Hamlin County, we recently upgraded feeders in Buffalo Trail area and along Sugar Hollow Road. And last but not least, we just completed a major upgrade and overhaul of our White Pine delivery point substation. By replacing outdated equipment, we are reducing maintenance costs and helping to ensure reliability. The last aspect of being service-driven that I'd like to point out today has to do with the fact that we sincerely try to respond affirmatively to the expressed views of those we serve. A significant number of our members told us they were interested in renewable energy options, and we listened. Our co-op community solar facility in New Market was completed in December of last year. And then through the end of August, it has generated 1.34 million kilowatt hours of clean energy from the sun. At this time, just over 10% of the solar panels have been subscribed by you, our members. And we offer a variety of ways to participate. You can choose to subscribe for a long-term investment. You can donate through our Share Solar plan, or with Select Solar, you can purchase blocks of solar energy for as little as $10 per month. All of these result in a credit on your electric bill. And you are supporting a renewable energy source that's right here in our service area with no maintenance or other expenses. Now, for an idea of how participation in co-op community solar has worked for one of AEC's residential members, let me introduce you to John Barnhill. John?
Several years ago, we had entertained the idea of putting solar panels on the roof of our house. However, we have a beautiful oak tree that nicely shades the front yard and the house. And to take that tree down would be a real shame. It would be costly, first of all, and secondly, it would diminish the value and the comfort of our home. When we learned that our co-op was actively involved in solar technology, we were very interested. And when AEC envisioned a community solar concept, we wanted to be involved. Joan?
We were the first household to invest in AEC Solar on their farm project, and we purchased 34 panels. So now when the electric bill comes, I look first at how much credit did I get from our solar panels. It's been kind of exciting. We just enjoyed the whole experience, but it is taking quite a bit off our electric every month.
Yeah, we haven't been disappointed with that. We are pleased that we can share in clean, renewable solar energy and at the same time receive some return on our investment. We are very pleased to be a part of Appalachian Electric Cooperative's programs and, of course, their services. Thank you.
Thank you, John and Joan. We greatly appreciate that. If you're interested in AEC's renewable energy options, please speak to someone from our Member Services Department to learn more. Finally, I'd like to share another example of listening to those we serve, one that I'm sure that many people here today have been waiting to hear about. At last year's annual meeting, I reported that we were in a wait-and-see position on the subject of broadband. Since then, the governor has signed legislation opening the doors for co-ops to pursue a role in facilitating the delivery of this technology. And the state put up some money, limited money, also to help that. This year, I'm able to report that our board is proceeding cautiously by releasing what is called a request for information. This is a copy of it right here. Okay? It's a request for information to those companies that might be interested in a partnership type model to bring broadband service to all the members of Appalachian Electric Cooperative. Now, moving forward, our board will carefully consider both risk and opportunities before deciding whether or not to proceed to the next stage. The RFI, or Request for Information, is just the first step in a journey toward finding a financially viable option to the issue of providing people in our service area with access to high-speed internet. Now, we consider this to be one of the most important tasks before us. The future of both economic development and education, indeed the quality of life in general, will depend upon the availability of broadband. We have come to the realization that at some level, our cooperative should be a part of bringing this service to those who need it. While our first and foremost objective will always be the delivery of safe, efficient electric service, we believe that access to affordable broadband is quickly becoming a necessity and that our members deserve options and opportunities on par with other parts of the state and the country. To that end, we released the request for information earlier this month and are hopeful of receiving interest from a number of companies that would like to work in partnership with us to bring broadband to every AEC member. Now, let me tell you, I remain optimistic about finding a balance of risk and opportunity that makes sense for those who we serve. So, stay tuned on this issue, and I can let you know that we've already received at least 4 responses from companies that are interested. So there is interest out there in helping to bring broadband to our service area. I would like to close my remarks today by sharing with you what member-owned, service-driven means to me. It means always remembering that I work for you. Our business model is structured in such a way that I'm not driven to produce a profit for shareholders. Instead, I get my motivation from a sincere desire to operate our cooperative in the most efficient, responsible, and cost-effective way possible. It means that reliability, safety, and security are at the top of my list. It means continually looking for ways to work smarter, deliver better services, contribute to our communities, and have a positive impact on the quality of life of our members. I may be AEC's general manager, but I am a co-op member too. I expect nothing less from myself than the very best that I can do every single day. Folks, thank you for being here today. Thank you for sharing in your co-op. I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, Greg. If you have any questions that hadn't got answered today, be sure to contact Greg or his staff, these people in the red shirts. Hopefully you can get answers, or at least get referred to somebody that can answer. Okay, I'd like to introduce Dale Fain, Vice President of the Board of Directors, to recognize the AEC SA contest winner for 2017. Dale.
Good afternoon. I have a watch also. Each year, AEC joins with the Tennessee Electric Cooperative Association and the National Rural Electric Co-op Association in sponsoring the Washington Youth Tour Essay Contest. 2017 marks the 51st year of AEC's participation. When I read it, I said, wow. Then I did the quick math in my head. I realized I was in the first class that actually wrote these essays, so I didn't feel too good about that. But anyway, I did not win, but I did learn a whole lot about how the co-ops function and how important they are in our society. The creative writing classes from the junior English classes of Jefferson, Granger, and Morristown West each year are asked to write an essay. This year the topic was Going Beyond the Wires. Over 1,000 students of those schools participated in this contest. The first and second place students were chosen from each school. One male and one female was selected to spend an expense-paid trip to Washington, D.C. for a week, learning about how government works. I think it probably took longer than that, but anyway. These students, if you've seen them today, they're the students they wear the coral T-shirts. You've seen part of them on stage already this morning. I'd like to recognize and congratulate those students from the following schools. The first place winners from Jefferson County High were Brent Adams and Madison Smith. From Granger County, the winners were Elijah Chaffins and Susan Blankenship. And from Morristown West, Rachel Bass and Gavin Belfry. Out of these students, a winner was selected to receive a $2,500 college scholarship to the school of their choice. I'm happy to report this year that this year's winner was Rachel Bass. Appalachian congratulates Rachel and all participants in this contest, and we look forward to presenting this award again next year if you have children, grandchildren, whatever, when they get to be juniors in high school, I would encourage you to ask them to participate in this. It's a learning experience and also a great opportunity to receive a trip to Washington and also to receive money for their further education. Thank you very much.
The next order of business should be the election results. They're still counting votes. So we're going to do a little roundabout here. This time I would like to extend my personal thanks to the Washington Youth Tour participants, those young people in the teal t-shirts, for their assistance this morning at the annual meeting. Now we're going to do the final drawing. Hopefully the results will come in here in a few minutes, so we'll see. We'll proceed as needed here. So we'll do first drawing. You must be present to win. This is a credit toward your electric bill. The first drawing is a $75 credit. $506,513. I believe we got a winner down there. $100 certificate. 506,049. 506,049. Okay, right here. Okay. $250 certificate. 506,427. 506,427. Oh, that's a biggie. We got it? 506,427. Conrad, do we have it? Okay, got it. Okay. Now then, I'm going to say just a few more words before we do another drawing. After this final drawing, we'll ask you to exit when you're ready. Of course, we got the election results to come. The exit to the same doors you came through, and you pick up your sack lunch and drink. There will be employees there to help. This is for the grand prize. We need the grand prize winner to come down where? Front, somewhere here, and receive this prize because we want to make a picture. So here we go, $500. Anybody want to win $500? 506,214. Right here. Okay, we're actually going to recess the meeting and wait on the final results. So we will re-adjourn whenever the results are in. Thank you very much for being here. Ready to come and give the results of the election. Doug?
Thank you, Mr. President. The following report has been submitted by the Chair of the Credentials and Elections Committee, Clyde Baird. The number of votes cast in the election were 1,133. The number necessary for election were 567. 3 of the votes cast were deemed illegal. The results are as follows. Robert Drennan received 462 votes. Eric Fritz received 668 votes. At this time, I would entertain a motion to adopt the report of the Credentials and Elections Committee as the official election of the director for District 3. I need a motion. The motion is here. Mr. Hicks. And who's the second? What? There's been a motion and a second that the following nominee be elected for District 3. That's Eric Fritz. All in favor of the motion say yes. All those opposed say no. Mr. Secretary, I would ask that the results of the report of the Credentials and Election Committee and the election be annexed to the minutes of this meeting and duly identify that the following individual has been elected to represent District 3, Eric Fritz. At this time, Mr. President, this concludes the election of directors for the 77th annual meeting.
Thank you, Doug, and thank you for attending this meeting. This concludes our meeting. We're now adjourned.